Wow, this is fun. I've recently discovered some other things that I can do with this. However, we're not here to talk about Abba Ranger or Dino Power Rangers Dino Thunder. We're not here to talk about Abba Ranger, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, or Super Sentai. So I can take this and get rid of it. I'm not actually going to throw this because this is a pricey piece of plastic. So I'm not going to break that. However, what we are here to talk about is some Kamen Rider. Some of you may have seen that on various social media platforms, I did a little poll as to what series do I want to go over some things because of those three, be it Geo, Build, or Zero One, I have a number of different items that I could go over with, or enough to do a whole live video like this. However, per your requests, are we doing Geo? No. Are we doing 01? No. What are we going to do? We're going to do 2017's Kamen Rider build, which is by far, at least of the Neo Heisei era, is my absolute favorite. Of Heisei in general, it is probably one of my tops, along with Gaim and probably Kiba. There are a couple I have yet to see, but at the moment in 2026, those are my tops. So what are we going to do today? I have a whole number of DX items from Kamen Rider Build that we're going to take a look at, starting with the build driver here, as I try to get this in shot. Yeah, I think we're good. I have my build driver on a Daisa here, which, as I was putting this together, I realized, people are, going nuts over getting these as a display option, which I absolutely understand why they're so desired. However, for what they're going for and the hollow plastic that these are made out of, I do not think they are actually worth the price of what they're asking for, or at least in the aftermarket. For the most part, not in the regular MSRP. I happened to get this on a deal many years ago, so this and the one for my Typhoon driver, which came with it, the CSM one, would be the only Daisas that I have. So we've got our build driver. For those of you who are not familiar, at this point in the Kamen Rider series, they were heavily relying on the gimmicks. For build, it was kind of like science, or like biology meets technology. So as a result, we have these full bottles, which at the time, and even as I'm opening them now, they're very satisfying, they're very tactile. The whole gimmick in the show is that you shake them up. They have, if you can see, there's a little plastic drum thing in here that's supposed to mimic the look of actual liquids in here. And then you spin the top. Now, keep in mind, there are no electronics in this. It is all in the belt. There's actually also a QR code. Whatever. I'm sure it just takes you to a site that may or may not be active still. So this was a belt that I wanted for quite some, or when the show came out, because I watched this when it was airing. I definitely wanted this, but I was dragging my feet and I didn't quite get it yet. And then I was going to a bunch of toy shows in hopes that I would actually find it. Did I find it? No, not at all, because finding some of these Japanese roleplay items at tri-state area, New York, well, not so much New York, but definitely New Jersey and Pennsylvania, are sometimes hard to find. I can find some things every once in a while, but all of this, not really. So the whole, it's science-based, and we've got this is our build driver with the 2 slots for our full bottles, and this nice chromed, ooh, do you see that shimmering? Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna blind you guys with this chromed out piece, and then this handle, which we will get to in a moment. This was fun still opening this up after so many years. That's the joy of having all of the boxes of my Tokusatsu in-box items here, is that when I get to open them up, I get to basically like reopen them and rediscover them for the umpteenth time, and it's still just as fun as when I first got them. Another, especially with this driver, so when a show comes out and they have the initial belt slash driver that comes out, over time throughout the series, they're going to have all of these add-on items for power-ups and, you know, obviously to sell you more toys. More so with this one, there were a number of teases as to different ports. Like you see the slot on, actually, because I don't know if this is oriented backwards or not, but this slot right here, you know, this does not go to anything that the belt came with. We will get to that later. So, and of course the dies, these side pieces I believe are for CSM, the adult size belts, but I just put this so I could better stabilize everything. So we have our belt. As I slide it, I don't want to scratch the plastic, but actually I will take the side off, because even though this is on the inside, which no one will see, there is so much sculpted detail in this. This is really impressive, and especially for something that no one is going to see. But we're going to hear. All right, we are on. We are going to clip that back. There we go, snap. A satisfying snap. As I try to slip this back on without, yeah, how about we just leave this here? So, we have our 2 full bottles. I'm trying to remember which one is which. Rabbit, which is our organic device, or our organic piece, and Tank, which is our mechanical piece. You know, honestly, now that I'm thinking about this, we have our 2 colors, our red and our blue, representing 2 different pieces. If you know your tokusatsu, and your red and your blue next to each other, what does this remind you of? Kikaider. Yes, that's exactly what this reminds me of. Jinzo Ningen Kikaider, but we're not here to talk about Kikaider. We're here to talk about Kamen Rider Build. So we're gonna, actually before I put these in, because this features the rail system. If you see all these bumps, it is a special way to read each individual one of these, so it shoots out different lights and sounds. So we're gonna put our rabbit, if I can find my rabbit. Oh no, wait, that's because I'm putting this up the wrong way. They're supposed to go upside down. But in the means of the show, you're supposed to shake it, spin it. Of course, again, that does not give you any sort of sounds, but rabbit, Tank. Ooh, it's a best match. That sound indicates that we are gonna have to take this handle and crank it. If only this belt played the opening theme, because as like cheesy and girl pop as Be the One is, that is absolutely one of my favorite Kamen Rider openings. What's her name? Beverly. She's almost like the Japanese version of Ariana Grande, even though I wouldn't say I'm a fan of hers, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. As I pick this up, hopefully these side pieces will not fall off, because what I want to show you, so you see the gears here? They spin too when you crank this. Yeah! And then we've got the Build logo right here. I mean, it's got, you know, these separate pieces of red plastic. These are not the base plastic that is painted. This is a separate. Is it a separate piece? Yes, it is a separate piece that has kind of like a black tampo on here. So this is the basic build driver. You know, I'm not 100% sure if this does anything different, but let's see what happens if we reverse them. Okay, not much different, but we will remove these, as these are the two that come with this. Now, this is the collecting gimmick for this belt, which means these aren't the only two for you to buy. There are a multitude of full bottles for you to buy and combine with different things, so we will put the Rapid and the Tank to the side, and then we will bring out the next basic one we have here, which is our octopus and light. I mean, it's a magenta octopus. If you know anything about me, this is just so bizarre that I had to get this. Of all the single/dual basic releases of the full bottles, this was the one that I wanted. So, we have our octopus. We have our light. It's spin. Just like the other ones, these are also DX bottles. So, that's Octopus! This too is the best match because they came packaged together. That's kind of what they do. Octopus Lighto! But yeah, I mean, it doesn't do too much, but it's octopus and it's light. I had to have it. So that is what the outfit on build looks like once he has this upgrade. I mean, it's very similar to the basic one. It's just different colors, maybe a couple different pieces, including the visor parts. Nothing crazy, but will anything happen? I'm gonna say nothing different happens. No! Hold on, hold. I didn't say I was ready yet. Can you tell me, neurotic? I have to be ready before this happens. Okay, well, nothing. Again, much like the basic ones, nothing much happened. But we are semi-far from done. With any good DX Kamen Rider belt, you need a holder for your accessories, which is where the full bottle holder DX comes from. It is this side piece which can hold up to 3 full bottles, which will clip. Actually, this probably will not clip onto the side because this is so tight against the Daiza, but basically that's where you put it. And the holder comes with its own full bottle. The Sojiki, which is basically the vacuum or the vacuum cleaner one. There's only one here. It's got the flexible yellow plastic like the belt has, which we have here, same material, but then it has this harder material for the full bottles. Clips onto the side like any holder, DX holder does. Nice little silver paint job there, but it's just a holder. We don't really need to do anything other than that. Let's see. We've got our Sojiki, which is our mechanical, and we've got a rabbit. Well, let's pull rabbit back because that's our organic one. So let's see what happens. This time I am. that was it. You did notice that it did not say best to match because these two were not paired together. The rabbit and the tank were. The octopus and the light were. This was a single full bottle, so it doesn't really pair up with much. The box here with the, I mean, you can see Build here has a vacuum at the end of his arm. These colors, now that we are in 2026, sort of reminds me of Zed. I will fully admit that I watched the first couple, I don't know, like first 8 episodes of Zets, and I tuned out because I am someone who prefers the really old school stuff, and they went hard on the CGI, which was very distracting, or at least in the structure of this Kamen Rider series, it is very distracting. Unlike Gavan Infinity, where it is a sci-fi show to begin with, and all of those sci-fi elements will benefit from CG, even if it's not the greatest, but it lends itself better to that. So we will move all of this down to the floor with our first power-up, which would be our rabbit tank sparkling or sparkling? Rabbit tank sparkling. Yes, rabbit tank sparkling. This is a nice piece. I mean, most of them are bottle based. However, this one, not only does it have this beautiful chrome, and much like the rabbit in the tank, it is red and blue, but it is designed to look like a soda can, and it even has this, if you see as advertised at the top, a pull tab, which you can see right here, because the only way we can get this in here, I mean, obviously there are the tracks on here, but these pieces have to get into that part. But how do we get that? Because this is a soda can. Pull the top. And now the bottoms are visible. So we just go. Oh wait, I'm supposed to do something. So it went from the sounds in the belt to the sounds in the can. Now, this has been a while since I played around with this, so let's see if I try to pull the tab while it's still in here. Not a thing. Yeah. Because as you can see, when you pull the tab, bottom comes out, almost like the fizz of a carbonated soda. And you still play with the top, nothing. But when you look at I kind of like the suit here. It's got all of like, you know, carbonate. The white stuff is like carbonation, and it's got the rabbit and the tank colors with the blue and the red. But this was a cool one. Some of these accents kind of remind me of the advanced tri jackets from Exceed Draft, which is the Metal Hero series. Which, if you came out to my panel, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. We will talk about that more later. But for now, we will take the Rabbit Tank Sparkling and move it aside because we still have some more to go. Second to last is the Hazard Trigger. I mean, it basically looks like a trigger. This activates a kind of like dark, I wouldn't quite say evil version of Build, but it taps into some hazardous powers that he may have, which it's been a while since I've watched this. It's been 3, oh my god, 9 years already? Wow. So we've got our trigger here. It looks like a trigger, even though there's no actual trigger here. But one of my favorite things here is that because it is a hazardous trigger, you want to put a protective piece on here. So to cover the button, and especially with the yellow and the black lines here to designate that this is a warning, do not touch this unless you read it.
Hazard on. Hazard on.
The hazard is on. And much like some of the others, it also has a QR code on the back. So this little rail line thing here, that hole or that spot that I noted earlier, that's what this is for. So it's always kind of cool to be like, I know something probably goes in here, but what's going to change throughout the course of the series here? There's also kind of like I don't want to say a dial, but like a reading. Now, nothing is, you can't tell anything from here, but once you put, if you can see, actually, no, it's not until I start cranking this, but we will remove the hazard.
Hazard on.
It's on! Now, as you see, there's nothing in here, so it's not going to do much.
Overflow.
You son of a...
Yabe.
Oh, that's not good at all.
Hazard on.
Ah, see, there I cranked it backwards. It's kind of turned it off. So I think we probably need more full bottles in here. You stop! Okay, we got it. Yes, yabe! Let me get the rabbit in the tank again. We've got a rabbit. We've got a tank. We've got rabbit tank. So... I didn't even hit the button here yet, so let's hit the button.
Hazard on. Ready, go. Overflow.
Oh, I have to crank again. Or no. I was gonna say, or not at all. I have to hit the button again.
Hazard on. Hazard on. Hazard
On! Can you tell I haven't touched this in a while?
Hazard on. Ready, go. Overflow.
So one of the reasons aside from this is the vote that was chosen, there is not a lot of difficult voice commands that I have to use on this, or I wouldn't say difficult, but things that would require more research into knowing what I'm doing with this. But so that's the hazard, but we're gonna get rid of these two and bring out our last one, which would be, it's already talking. That would be our Genius Full Bottle, which is like the final power up. And look at all of those tubes and pipes on his head. And this is like the sacred white armor that he's got. You can see more of that on the back here. But we will take the hazard trigger off for now and take a look at our final form. So we've got voice lines, build up. It's great. Good. And much like the standard full bottles, it has a spinning top to the bottle here, but as you can see, it doesn't shake or anything. But it also has this, like, look, all of this sculpted detail and different colored plastics, and then the multicolored sticker at the top here. This is gorgeous. There's a reason why I bought.
実験を始めようか。
Okay, I got it. There's a reason why I bought all of the stuff for Built because, like I said, it's one of my favorites. But
変身。
shh. Much like the sparkling bottle, it has the 2 rails in the back because there are 2 spots in here. It takes up both spots.
勝利の法則は決まった。
Yeah! See, this is how I would want to be introduced at a wedding, be it mine or somebody else's, because I like it flashy. So, bit of a story time. So I will take this out for now. Let's see, what year was this? This was right before COVID. So I want to say it was like January or February of 2020. And Team Kamen Rider had this meetup in Times Square where they encouraged everyone to bring their belts and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So we met at Midtown Comics. I went with one of my friends who this was not their thing, but they came for support. And we go into Midtown and, we're just browsing around. This is maybe like 20 minutes prior to the meetup. And then, there are various people with backpacks. And then I start seeing the backpacks open, and then I start seeing the belts come out. And at that point, 01 had just started, so I wasn't 100% sure on how the belt itself worked. So I went up to the guy and asked him, hey, can you demonstrate this for me? Show me how it works. So at that point, I knew who was there for the Kamen Rider meetup. And then everyone went downstairs towards the entrance / exit of the building. And at this point, I had put all of this stuff on, and I brought a good amount of what I've shown you so far. I believe the only thing I didn't bring was this, because I brought a big bag of the stuff, and I didn't want it to get damaged because I wasn't going to haul everything in the boxes, then pull everything out of the boxes, then assemble it. So I just delicately put some things in plastic bags. This was not one of them. These two go together. Thought to myself, you know what? It's not a big deal. Not a problem. So I start putting all this stuff on, and then we go outside. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, even though this is probably the absolute nerdiest thing I've ever done as I walked through the center of Times Square with a freaking Kamen Rider belt on. But backing it up just a little bit, I had this and not this. Feeling pretty good. This was like the final combination. This guy within our group walks right up to me, looks at me, looks at the belt, looks at me, and then points at me saying, it is not accurate, and what am I doing wearing this? Well, he didn't say why am I wearing this, but he said not accurate. Nerd, we will call you out when things are not 100%, won't we? Because I know I would. So, story time over, let's get back to this. We've got our hazard trigger, so we will put the hazard trigger on. Okay. Genius full bottle. There are a lot of sounds going on now, aren't there? you could say we were building to this point because this is what it culminates in. Yeah, so this is like his final form. I don't know if it's on the back here. It does not show it, but like even here, you get a good look at the suit, which is really cool. That is one of the problems when you have all of these fancy schmancy doodads and add-ons, is that because the belt is making noise, and this is making noise, and this is making noise, and you barely can make heads or tails of what's going on, but it's loud and obnoxious, but I'm here for it. I know I am. So that wraps up things for Kamen Rider Build, but as I had mentioned the last time I went on with the Sentinels, I will be appearing at not one, but 2 conventions in May. I actually have the dates down this time. So, Thy Geekdom Con, we have agreed on a date. It is Saturday, May 23rd at 9 p.m. We are doing a late night panel. I've done panels there before. However, I've never actually been there at as late as 9 p.m. So I'm very interested to see what type of crowd that brings in and how potentially raucous things can get. And then there is Fan Expo, which is May 29th to the 31st. Actually, let me go back. Thy Geekdom Con is at the Oaks Convention Center in Pennsylvania/Philadelphia area. And then the Fan Expo, May 29th to the 31st, which is at the Pennsylvania Convention Center in Center City. That I have yet to receive the day and time on which I am going on, but I should hear back in, I want to say within the next 2 weeks is what they told me. So look forward to that. I mean, at this point, I have all of these bins of various tokusatsu toys and collectibles that I just, like, they're in boxes. And as much as I have fun with them, I like showing them off to people because I'm that type of toy nerd. Because I just get so, you want to see what you want to see my toys? Let me show you my toys. So I mean, you know, I really want to show this stuff off, and you know, this is fun. I really enjoy this. This is one of the few things I can improv pretty well. Or at least I think I can improv pretty well because there was no script aside from some dates right here. But you know, I think I will be back soon with some other stuff because I have plenty to work with. So for that, I am going to say from Baron HQ, I bid you adieu as I awkwardly try to figure out a way to turn this off. Yes,